Okay, so if the directions just say to sketch a graph, don't make it harder than it is. Grab your graphing calculator, go ahead and put the equation into your y equals. Take a quick look at the graph just to get an idea for what it's going to look like. In this case, we have a parabola, which we should because it is a quadratic, meaning that the lead exponent is a squared. But you can't just randomly draw that, okay? You need to go to the table. Use the table. Make sure that you include both sides. So you want to include that minimum point, okay? So if you look at the graph, you know that your minimum point is that point there about, what is it, 1, -3, somewhere in there. Okay, if we go back to our table, I'm sorry, -1, -3. Okay, so you jot down these points and you graph it. Okay, so you jot down the points, maybe you jot down the table, -1, -3. Okay, now really all you're doing, if let's say you didn't have your graphing calculator, you pick x's and y's and put them in. Okay, I know the point -1, -3. If I plug in 0 and I put zeros in, my output would be a -2. Because I know this is a parabola, I know that it is a mirror. It reflects itself. So without even doing it, I know that an input of -2 leads to an output of -2 as well. Okay, if I plug in 1, 1 squared is 1, plus 2 is 3, 3 minus 2 is 1. That's the point to the right, 1 up 1. I know that would be mirrored on the other side, so I know that -3 also would have an output of 1, and so on and so forth. Once again, you have your graphing calculator. It's important that you find points in the table. Be specific. Don't just freehand it. Okay, well, what if we're asked to sketch one that is a little different than the last one? It's got a lead coefficient that's not 1. 2x squared minus 8x plus 5. I go back to my graphing calculator. Y equals. I'm going to insert. So we get 2x squared minus 8x plus 5. Whoops, my plus didn't register there. Plus 5. Take a quick look at the graph, see kind of what's going on. Okay, this one's a lot steeper. I see that my minimum is going to be over there with an x value of 2, so I want to make sure that I get x's on both sides of 2. So when I do look at my table, I want to make sure I have stuff on both sides of 2. So I will plot the point 0, 5, 1, -1, 2, -3, 3, -1, 4, 5. I'm not going to take the time to do that. Hopefully you all can do that yourselves. Now if I'm asked to solve by graphing, I'm going to graph each of these. And remember that if you're asked to solve by graphing, we're looking for the point of intersection. That's the key here. Okay, the solution is going to be where these things intersect. You got two different equations, two different lines. We're looking for where they're going to intersect. Stop doing that. This thing's acting up on me a little bit tonight. Okay. So, first things first, I'm going to graph a y-intercept of -9. I didn't mean to cross that out. So that's down 9, plot a point. And then I'm going to use my slope of -3/8. Now remember, -3/8 is either -3 over +8, or you can think of it as +3, over -8. Okay? Man, this thing is like going bonkers on me. Oh, come on. Alright, well, you get the point. I'm going to leave it there because it's not being nice to me. Okay, so from my y-intercept of -9, I can go one of two ways. I can either go to the left 3 and then up 8, to the left 3, up 8. It's going to have me right about there. To the left 3, up 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Up there. Or I could go to the right 3 and down 8, but that's going to have me down here off the grid. So I think what I did there was the best option, best choice. And I'm going to go ahead and graph this line. I have arrows going in both directions. Now I got to graph the line, a y-intercept of +2, a slope of 1 over 1. So that's up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1, up 1, right 1. Or down and to the left. I think right about there, that's the point where these intersect. Okay, so let me go ahead and draw my line. The key is, what is this point? Looks to me, if I count that right, it's to the left 3, down 1. That's the solution to this system of equations. Graph both lines, look for where they intersect. Okay, one more of those. Y-intercept of -5, that's down 5. Slope of 4/9, so that's either +4 over +9, or don't forget that -4 over -9 would be the same thing, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I can either go, remember we're talking rise over run, up 4 to the right 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right about there. Or I can go down 4 and back 9, which would have me over here somewhere. There's my first line. The second one, y-intercept of 6, so up 6. 5/3 is either -5 over -3, or +5 over +3. So I can either go up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and to the right 3, which will have me over in here. Or I can go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back 3. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back 3. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back 3, has me right here. It turns out to be that point way down there where these intersect. So if I count that, that's to the left 1, man, to the left 9, and then down 9. -9, -9. Once again, to solve a system of equations by graphing, you want to graph both equations, see where the lines intersect.